And Tracy Morgan goes out and does something, and it ends up being a whole thing. Like, how does that happen? Why doesn't it happen to one person but another?
Tracy Morgan's a stupid... Whoa.
Tony, shut the fuck up.
Well, he is. He is.
Oh, God.
Paul.
Yes, sir.
It's going great.
Colin Quinn, because he was on Saturday Night Live.
I have
and
no
with
problem
Tracy
with
Morgan, how did you feel? Should he apologized or not? Do you think that was...
Like you said, he was a stupid... Listen, I don't want to... I couldn't resist.
Did you ever think that when we were young, you know, back when we were alive, that we would like be going... we would be going to the fucking airport and see the army guys with like guns and badges and shit like this fucking Nazi Germany. Did you ever think it was going to be like that?
Well, of course I didn't.
Are you telling me?
Okay.
No, I didn't think that.
Hey, Bob, say something attached to what the fuck they just said. All right. Okay. What can come out your ass after that? Let's figure it out. Some chewing gum, nigga? What's coming out your ass, Bob?
Throwing this.
Will you fucking...
I have never... Did you picture your career this way when you started out? Is it like what you wanted?
Not here.
No,
You know, my goal was to do stand-up. I just loved doing stand-up. I was making a living doing stand-up. I did The Tonight Show with Johnny. I did the HBO. I did the Young Comedian Special with this guy 17 years ago. It was the Young Comedian Special, and I was kind of old then.
Yeah.
I was, yeah.
I noticed that.
I was like 35.
I remember at the time just thinking Ray is so much better than all of us.
I remember seeing your stand-up and thinking, that guy's going to be a great writer. Wait a minute.
Whenever I perform a show in front of my people,
Who
I
are your
bomb.
people? Who are your people?
Pakistanis.
Why do you think that you don't do well? Or is it just in your mind that you don't do well?
No, I know I don't do well because they called and complained to my manager afterwards.
Really?
Really? Muslims?
I did a show for a Muslim Doctors Association. And,
Wait, here or in Pakistan?
Here.
Oh, 'cause
in
what kind of-
Pakistan, it would just be called Doctors Association.
I did a joke one night and he got offended. It was weird. It was during the O.J. Simpson thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I said something about the jury thought that DNA meant that nigger's acquitted. And he got upset.
Downright, ladies and gentlemen. Laughing my ass off. When y'all edit this, don't make it look like I was cooning up, because this is some funny shit. I saw the camera, and when he said that nigga's acquitted, the camera went straight to me. And it's like, I don't want y'all to edit this to make it look like it's all right, that nigga's laughing. It's funny, so go ahead and laugh. It's funny as shit. I love y'all talking about this, so just laugh, man. This shit is funny, man. That's all I'm saying.
Sweet.
Hey, Paul, do me a favor. Make sure you edit all that shit out and just put a subtitle that says that nigger's cooning.
I was watching Def Jam, and this comic opened up with, bitches ain't shit. And I was like, wow.
Let's be honest, they ain't shit. I mean...
Yeah, but if you really got underneath what he was saying, he was probably just afraid to get into a relationship, you know?
I know.
There's layers.
Were you not hopeful that there would be change with Obama in office.
We love magic, man. We don't like talking reality. That's why I never really fell for the whole thing. We like that's why people think ancient dishwashers have predicted the end of the world in 2012, man. I don't believe in that.
Ancient dishwashers.
The apocalypto, goofy little short dude. I don't believe in it. You feel this though? You feel this. It's just like, ooh, because I said ancient dishwashers. But let's be honest, that's some funny shit. But predicted the end of the world. Bob, you got a fucking joke about something about the end of the world, nigga?
Jump in, Roseanne. I don't know.
I hate hope.
I'm of the younger generation, so I just wonder for all of you, who are you?
All right, now you can talk.
It's so good. It's so good because it's so mutual.
Did you start doing comedy there or here?
No, here. Well, stand-up over there, when I was there, was like 20 years behind. So it was like or 30 years behind. It was like very different, like Catskills kind of.
Catskills in Pakistan?
Yeah. It's a fascinating world.
Take my wives, please.
These kids, they blow up so young.
That's easy. I know, it's all right.
I'm right here, guys. I can hear.
I had one of the few letters written when I was performing at the Comedy Store upset at me because I had this bit that I was doing about, there's a thing called the Second Coming Project, where people had theorized if the blood from the Shroud of Turin was actually Jesus' blood, we could somehow or another clone Jesus. So I had this bit that I was doing about
Nothing
Jesus
could possibly go wrong there.
Cloning, the very first time you clone it, it's not always exact science. Like Dolly the sheep, they had to go through a bunch of Dollys before they got the good one. You know, I'm like, if Jesus comes back retarded, like, do we still follow him? Like, what do we do? So I had this whole thing about how he went, instead of turning water into wine, he turned like dog shit into cookies, and everybody would just follow him around. And I was doing this bit, man, and this fucking lady said, next subject, next subject. She was like directing me.
Okay, you gotta tell you, like, that word, it can mean other things. It just can be ball breaking anytime you play sport. I was playing hockey the other day, okay? And this guy, he knocked me down. I felt stupid. I got up. He asked me, he goes, you all right? And I go, yeah, you faggot. Like, it was this oddly intimate moment. He was going, are you okay? And we were on the ice, and it made me uncomfortable. And I said, hey, you faggot, get away from me.
So you want us to believe that you're fucking skating around with your buddy on the ice, figure skating, and we're supposed to believe you're Mr. Fucking Monk.
You see what he's doing now? He's using, like, homophobia. Hey, you're twirling out there in your dress.
Hey, twirling out there in your little skates.
That's what guys do.
What about George Carlin's great routine?
What's that?
He goes, when he was growing up, a fag was a guy that wouldn't go downtown with you and beat up the queers. He goes, go home, fag.
Speaking of women taking risks.
Yeah, I got in a little bit of trouble for that, too.
He looks like Hitler in the picture.
Don't I look like
Just
Hitler?
like Hitler, like you have his face.
Thank you. Check out my fucking Hitler shit. That's Hitler.
These are little gingerbread Jews, aren't they? Yeah.
It's like a Jewish woman, and she's dressed up like Hitler, and you know, he's in drag, Hitler, and he's baking cookies, and he's really proud of them, but also he's looking off into the horizon because he has a dream.
Jews went crazy over this, understandably.
Yeah, and I don't see understandably. I'm like, it really pissed me off because they're like, you're making fun of the people in the ovens. Well, I'm not making fun of the people.
You kind of are, though.
I kind of am not.
I mean, let's be honest here. Only thing would have been worse if you made the cookies skinny.
Wow.
that's so not right.
So when I first met Bo, I asked him who his favorite comic is, and he said Hans Theeuwen. Exactly. He's a Dutch comedian. And when I met you, you were 9? I can't really talk about it because of the restraining order, but I was just blown away that you would even know who he was.
Wait, what's his name?
Hans Theeuwen.
Can you do a little bit of this thing?
He's a Dutch absurdist. One of the things he does is he brings out a sock puppet, which is a black sock.
See, already, I don't like him.
Yeah, no. all right. It's a white sock.
Oh,
and then
But you were taught specifically that Jews are evil.
Yeah, in school, yeah. Our history books were definitely all the original Muslim wars that we studied history were all against, and then the Jews came. And I remember there was a test, they asked us this question, it was a trick question. How many people were martyred in the war? And somebody was like 3,000, like, nope, 1,500 of those were Jews, so they're going to hell. And this was like in 6th grade or something.
So now it's probably a higher number.
I hope so. We've been working pretty hard. We've been going at it.
I was so excited that you were in a movie, and I was bummed that it turned out to be this one.
In his attempt to shut down the paraphernalia industry and send a message to Hollywood, John Ashcroft made an example out of Tommy, proving that even a rich movie star is not untouchable for the DEA.
The privatized prison business is big. It's a slave labor market. We get these little jobs and we get like $15 a month, low end. People that are doing the longest time here are the ones that had a strategy, that went to court and fought it and lost. I'll tell you what it did. It made me feel like a black guy.
Wow. Whether he said something offensive or not, I just thought it was fucked up that one guy went home like with, I guess, the greatest memory ever, like a stenographer, and typed it out, and everybody's like, that's what he said, and that's what he meant, because guy in seat number 5F said it. And next thing you know, he's going around, got to apologize. That's kind of a scary thing as a comedian.
Well,
I've seen Tracy's act, his show is crazy.
It
His
is
show
pretty
is pretty
crazy, yeah.
over the top.
Tracy's genuinely
So
out of his
it's
mind,
not
though.
like he's up there like, what's up with end tables, and then goes into that shit. And that's when it comes to me where you're doing like this selective getting offended.
Who is determining how somebody's intent is? Who is to determine, hey, you know, the way you said that was mean-spirited. I know a lot of fucking idiots that think a lot of shit is mean-spirited just because it goes against what they believe. Everything is subjective to each audience. So you can say one thing in front of one audience, say the same thing, and those people are offended because it offends them. Just like me. There's shit that offends me. But it's like, I can't make those determinations.
What offends you?
All right, this is a bad example, but
Whole issue with the TSA and all that bullshit security, which is a fucking puppet show, let's be honest.
Here's my problem with that whole thing. A fat black bitch that is at the motherfucking gate, right? I mean,
Patrice,
she's
can
awful.
you name, just say her name?
It has to be Tamika, and don't try to set me up to do your white humor for you, nigga. I feel you, Bob.
I want to
Here's the
contact her.
problem.
I'm gonna call her.
Do me a favor, would you do Art is Dead? Yeah. Because I think that song says everything that I think I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'll do that one. Yeah, sure.
Oh, he's a prop comic.
Thank you, man. I think that's kind of interesting from a comic his age.
I thought it was cute.
It kind of chips away at hope when you realize that even Muslims themselves don't get along.
Yeah, like,
And
yeah.
what's the difference between Shiites and Sunnis? It's like a clerical error.
Good pun, too. Good pun. Cleric.
It's an interesting point you bring up, though, about talking to young people, because in the 70s, you worked colleges like crazy. You work colleges now, and there's a long list of things that you're not supposed to talk about.
Really?
On the top of the list is drugs.
Really?
I do tons of colleges, and they'll give you a list of they're like, don't talk about drugs, don't talk about sex, don't talk about religion. Don't
So what do you
talk
do,
about...
go home, you
And
pack
I'm
up
like,
and leave?
I have fucking nothing. And so I'm Billy the Mime on stage. I don't know what to say.
We did an all-girls school, and We were about 2 seconds into our act, and they got up and filed out like a fire drill. And I was going to say, hey, wait, you're going to miss a part where I fuck him in the ass. Man.
Hey, do you remember the show, it's like The Demise of Western Civilization?
Tough Crowd?
No.
You motherfucker! You motherfucker!
With all due respect, as a friend, my suggestion, I have 3 daughters.
You trying to fix them up?
No, I'm suggesting.
Wow, man, you really are cool.
I knew this was going to go there. What I'm telling you is you got to get outside yourself. Everybody has to get out of the narcissistic, and I'm a big narcissist. What I'm suggesting to you is have a child. First thing, it's 7 minutes, but a child will give you a projection outside. 7 minutes? 7 minutes of material immediately.
Oh, okay.
But it's panel. It's what you need to do though is get outside yourself. They do bring.
Congratulations,
They
Mr.
give you.
Saget. It's a tight 20.
Don't say tight about my child. But I'm saying if you get out of yourself and not make it about you and have a kid is a thing that does give you hope.
Bob,
I have 3 noble,
I understand what you're
amazing,
saying, but it also makes you
people.
go, when they go, Patrice, you want to do Celebrity Fit Club? If I have a kid, I go, yes. If I don't have a kid, I go, nah.
By Celebrity Fit Club, Patrice means full house.
I mean, it's one thing for a heckler to have to heckle you on stage and own that moment, but when people are faceless and don't have to get the repercussions for that,
What's the worst thing they've said about you?
The first comment I ever got was when I was 15. It was "Go go gadget faggot." That's all it was.
Well, all right, wait a second. That seems supportive.
I know.
And honestly, I meant it as supportive.
And I think for Middle Easterners, the good thing about 9/11, other than all the Jews dying, was that
I got banned from NYU, just so you know I do colleges. Yeah, I imitated a clitoris. I wasn't even trying. I was like, this is nothing. And there was a debate between like the lesbian jocks. There was a whole contingency. And they're like, that's wrong, yo, that's wrong. Like that. In their Abercrombie sweaters, I was like, God, you guys are young. You're fucking 18, 19 years old, and you're offended. You're 19. You know, you're looking for the quit.
What's the fucking difference between a Jew and Santa Claus? Santa Claus comes down the chimney. I could say that because I had a fucking relative. I had a fucking relative who died in Auschwitz.
There we go.
Okay? That's why I could say this. This gives me the fucking right to say it. Because I had a fucking relative who died at Auschwitz.
Apparently the wrong one.
I wouldn't fucking do it. I wouldn't touch me. Get your fucking hand. Hey, man. Don't fuck with me.
Whoa, what the fuck? Whoa!
Hey, I got one thing to say. Yeah? I got one thing to say. Can I say one thing?
Live from New York.
One thing to say. Yeah. If I made one person happy, it's all been worth it.
I love that. I love being able to say anything I want. I had to learn to stop caring about people not laughing. Because the idea of comedy, really, is not everybody should be laughing. It should be about 50 people laughing and 50 people horrified.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's supposed to be people that get it and people that don't get it.
It's very hard to watch someone that funny, that young, when you think of how unfunny you were at 20 years old.
All I did at 20 is worry about my hair, I think.
Yeah, that's a dead end.
What's the punishment for intercourse? Is there a
you
punishment?
get stoned to death.
Really?
Like Ron Jeremy right now.
Ron Jeremy's cock is so big it has an elbow.
His cock is so big, Muslims are flying planes into it. No?
Too soon!
It actually struck me as funny, and I thought it would be a great bit, because the bit is actually two straight guys. You can't have that fucking moment of like, yeah, you know, I was worried about you.
Right.
You can't have it. You get all weird, like, dude, yeah, get the fuck away from me. Like, you're just not allowed to have that moment.
So in the bit,
but it has nothing to do with gay people. But then that knee-jerk reaction is, oh, you said that word, let's look it up on the chart. Oh, that means this and it means that, and now you have to go on TV because on the chart it means you meant that when you said it.
But when you did that bit, it was really criticizing yourself for not being able to accept some sensitivity from another guy.
That's why guys drop dead at like 50 from like 40 years of not being able to admit a puppy's cute. You just got to keep pushing it down. I fucking care. And it's actually, it's a weakness.
The political correctness thing took over,
Right.
and now,
political correctness, which is a well-intended, meaningful effort to include and to not just casually accept things that we had casually accepted for generations, has been bastardized into some Orwellian sort of...
It's just to shut people up. I mean, the left loves to censor people and shut them up. The left and the right, they're the same fucking thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It was like years ago when I first started performing, and all these like lesbian feminists in Seattle like surrounded me like I thought they were gonna like scalp me.
Fuck, that's hot.
Because I was wearing a fucking skirt, and they said, "Do you know what you're doing to the feminist movement?"
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, hopefully feminizing it."
He hugged me once, my father, and I was about 20, and it felt very awkward. And I know now what made it awkward, the nudity.
How old were you?
When I started stand-up, I was 14.
Wow.
And I just was like, I can't be a child anymore.
Well, I
you know?
guess it beats factory work.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a different kind of sweatshop.
It's a different kind of sweatshop.
You know, it's a kinder, gentler sweatshop.
I remember that too, watching like when I would watch Def Jam, and if it was a generic white voice, it would annoy me. But if it was a specific white voice, like you could picture the guy, and then you'd be like, that shit actually happened.
Yeah.
That's funny. But if it was just like, oh, I'm sitting in a chair.
Well, yeah.
I hated that. But like,
as you got more successful, did you feel like you got better, or did you get more insecure?
I'm out of this one, right?
Yeah, me too.
Yes, you're out of it, but pay attention.
Okay.
I do think a lot of these stereotypes can come from good places. It's people trying to relate to you. Like, I got married to a white girl from North Carolina, and for the first year, her family called me Borat. That's what they called me.
Was that a term of affection, at least?
I honestly do think it was. It was...
The movie hadn't even come out yet.
They were way ahead of the curve. They were like, this movie's gonna be big. It's like not even the right landmass, you know?
One time I was on stage doing my Asian bit. Everybody's laughing, having a good time. Gotta get paid, I guess. Bitch better have my money.
Bitches ain't shit.